My name's Mitchell Page. I'm your host, and today I have a very special guest. He's a father, a businessman, and more importantly, a role model to everyone he meets. Welcome, Aaron Farley.
Hey, thank you guys so much, man. This is amazing. What an honor to be here, really.
No, man, I'm excited to have you on, bro.
I'm excited to be here, man.
So I queued up a few questions, mostly for me.
Okay.
I want to talk about fatherhood in the first bit. Then I want to talk a little bit about how fatherhood has influenced your businesses.
Okay.
And then we'll end on just a little bit about me and what you expect me to be as a father.
Sure. Okay, I love it. I dig it, man. All right, I'm following your lead. Let's do this.
So the first question I have is, what was the biggest change you felt in yourself when you first became a dad?
Ooh, all right. I did listen to the first podcast, so I know these questions hit a little bit heavy. So what was the first thing that changed inside of me becoming a dad, right?
Or like the biggest change you felt when you first became a dad?
Biggest change. I think it's just an overall sense of completion. I think it was something that I longed for so long. I know Carly and I were trying for a very long time to get pregnant. It's something that I always wanted to become, was a father. So when it did happen, just like the overall joy and excitement just really came over me. I just loved that point. The change I felt, you do feel different. You're just overall, I think, feel different when things like that happen to you. I don't know. That's a very tough question, man. I'm so sorry, bro. It's
I have like an idea too.
Yeah.
We've been friends since before.
Sure.
I think before, you've always been an amazing person.
Thanks, man.
Before, you could definitely tell there was like a want or a yearn for something deeper. And I think it first showed itself when you were looking for like a job with Molson or something deeper in that sort of career sense or that life sense.
Right.
And I think once you could start telling people Carly was pregnant and your daughter showed up, that's like, that sort of fell off because I think you found something that was a little deeper.
Right.
And also like that bleeds into like, I think the biggest change I saw in you was a lot more like you're always so actively caring about your health. Your health, more so than just like stretching and fitness, like your mental health, your mental clarity, everything to do with just being like a high functioning person. And you're setting a really good example for your daughter. You've made so many changes, and that's like especially in the last, I want to say 4 months, you're just such a high output person now. And it's like, it's infectious. It's inspiring.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. I think just touching on that is just, I think staying positive and being proactive, mentally in a healthy way, obviously just kind of breathes this kind of energy around you. And I just really wanted to do that. I thought that was really important, part about my parenthood.
Yeah, I think you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Modeling some of my choices after you.
Thanks. As one should, hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did becoming a dad shift how you define success?
I don't think so, but I think what it did do for me is wanted me to be a little bit more successful, knowing that there's more people that are dependent on you. So I think, it's funny. I'm going to go back to your podcast, the first one that you did with Julia, and you guys touched upon something where you're just like, when you start something and it's the motivation to keep doing it. My motivation is my family now. Yeah. My motivation is I have to keep doing it through the tough parts when that excitement kind of wears off a little bit. So that's how I deal with that. Yeah.
That's something like for me too, like I spoke about that on the Julia episode, and I've mentioned it a few times like on the main show with Aiden. But like now it's like the sort of those heavy times, like I'd always edit a lot of videos and fall off. But those like heavy times now, they don't feel as heavy. Like they feel like they're for, that bigger picture is for somebody else. And it's really helped me sort of define what I'm good at in the relationship. Like I talked a lot about this on the Julia episode. Like where I excel is being able to do long hours with moderate to good focus.
Right.
Like working the 15 hours is totally fine for me. Before I was try to like take a little bit of that like what I'm good at and try to put it on stuff I'm not. And now that I have that like sort of team, those roles have just become a lot more defined, and I think it's going to help like explode me towards success.
Absolutely.
Especially now, like, okay, I'm really good at doing this, this, and this. if I can do them the best I can and I'm already good at them, my partner can make up the other parts, and it's going to be just a much more successful workflow and like factory for the little one we have coming.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Because I think your definition of success is still the same from before you had your daughter.
Yeah.
And I think you became successful when you had your daughter, if that makes sense.
I just think that you just don't have a choice at that point.
Yeah.
You know, it just becomes something that you just do. That is something that just changes within you.
Yeah.
So I feel strongly about that.
Well, it happens a lot too, like in actors and just like, I think it was, oh my God, the lady who wrote Harry Potter's, I'm forgetting her name.
Oh, isn't it Rowling?
Yeah, J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling,
Like, I think like there's so many situations of people working on great projects and they're not successful because there's a choice of failure.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you have a family and have like that next generation depending on you, that choice of failure goes away because it's no longer an option.
Mm-hmm.
There's there's a big difference between someone's like, I want this and I have to do this.
Yeah.
And I think you've always had that I have to do this mentality. And I think that's always what's been propelling you to be extremely successful.
Thanks, and I appreciate it. I think success is a funny thing. We always look at success as like, what is successful, and what are we doing, and we define it by what we're accomplishing. But success can just be something so simple. Success could just be like what I talked about, just a positive mindset and a mind frame, and just getting up every day and just being a very positive person. Like, that's successful in itself.
Yeah, I spoke to Aiden on our last episode. That's the September 8th episode we just shot yesterday. And he's noticing a change, and I think it's on that same line of success. Like, success to me is like waking up and working towards something great to set an example for my family. That's my version of success. The work is the success.
Yeah.
But Aiden said, like, he had his birthday recently, and he said, like, he's feeling love towards people now.
Okay.
He explained it to me in a way of like, but it's not that he didn't feel love, but now he seems to like have a much more full picture of what him giving love does for people. And he's starting to want to do it more. So
Sure.
I think he's starting to get on that same line of success. Right.
Yeah. I think when you give it to people as well too, like when you want the best for people, you're going to find the best things that come out of it for yourself as well too.
Yeah.
So not selfishly, you don't do it because you're going to get ultimately a great feeling for it, but you do it because you just want to wish well upon others, and that breeds a certain different level of positivity.
Yeah, 100%. Excuse me. Oh. What's been the hardest part about those first few months of fatherhood? I don't know. Was cocktail pushers a thing for the first few months?
I don't think it was. I don't think it was in going on right away when she was pregnant. I think when Ayla arrived into our world. So it definitely wasn't. It wasn't a thing yet. It was just work at that point in time. Yeah.
Okay, weekend 7 work. So what was like the hardest part of those first few months of fatherhood?
I just want to say, like, it's really not even about business or anything of that sort. I think as a man, I think the hardest part of fatherhood, I guess if you will, is knowing that you're kind of useless for the first little bit of time. Like, you just have to be real with that. Like, right? Like, I think everything is just so dependent on the mother.
Yeah.
So I think what's important for you as a man is just being there the best that you can. Be supportive in ways, listen, ask if you can do anything, because the first little bit is very tough on the man. And in a sense, like, you get discouraged a little bit because you can feel a little bit useless.
Yeah.
You're not mom, and you're never going to be mom.
Yeah.
So you have to get used to that idea that, you're a dad, but I knew that it was always going to come later down the road. I knew the importance was going to come when they had, an idea of who you were and how they needed you. Yeah. And so those are the moments that I'm enjoying the most now, as my daughter is 2.5. So now I'm getting, the daddies and, come play with me, come home to me, I love yous. And so the idea of them recognizing who you are. But at the beginning, they don't need you. Yeah. And they don't want you. And, for other reasons as well, too, with, like, in terms of feeding and that nurture part of it. So that was That's really what it was at the beginning.
That's definitely something like I tend to get overbearing a little bit.
Yeah.
And like, are you okay? Do you need anything? You okay? Do you need
Yeah.
anything? And then I know the babies, they're babies. They can't,
Yes.
they're babies. So I know like that's definitely something I'm going to struggle with, is feeling a little useless.
Totally.
That's a really cool insight, because I hadn't thought about that before.
I think that's a really important thing to understand. So I think that what you can do, talking about business or whatever, is just keep doing you. Obviously you're going to take a little bit of time, when the baby is born, but life doesn't stop for you. You got to keep going, and you got to keep working, and those are the things that you need to do as a man, in this relationship. So just focus on that. Don't feel that way, even though it's going to happen. And even if somebody tells you to stop feeling that way, it's going to happen to you anyways. But, just try to be easy on yourself, and don't over the top do it. Be like, hey, what do you need all the time? But I think being present is important. Yeah. And, once you're present, everything else falls into place.
Yeah. I think like one thing that we've discussed is like, we have the amazing problem of two overly active pairs of grandparents. So right now we're in the like conversation of juggling who's going to stay in the room, who's going to be here for the 2 weeks after, who's going to come then. And we were kind of getting in the weeds about the logistics of like making sure, because we have some space, but we don't have enough space for group of parent one, group of parent two, us and the new baby in this small place, and like other family that's going to be visiting. And so we've talked about it for like an hour and a half, and then we were like, this is a really good problem to have. Yes. But I think my job in that is like, Julie and I have progressed at a very fast rate, but even more so than just like the falling in love aspect. Like I feel like I really understand her on a metaphysical thinking level. Like I know what she needs at the same time she does without words being said. Right. So I think an important job for me is going to be like managing her overstimulation in that first like 4 days. When she's back from the hospital, she's recovering from the immediate delivery of the baby. Sure. We've talked about that too. And like, we've really good at communication, but we've discussed like, my job is going to be managing the grandparents who are obviously in a very loving way, not to any fault of them wanting to be like there all the time. Of course. Maybe she just needs to sleep with the baby in the room. So we kind of have that role defined for that's like the first 2 weeks. And then after that, I'm definitely going to feel useless, but hey, I can manage your overstimulation in the first 2 weeks.
For sure. I think, in terms of that conversation that you probably had with Julia, I would say my advice would just be, she's going through it. Yeah. She's the one doing all of this stuff. So whatever she needs. So in terms of 100%. Like what the grandparents are all about, if she wants her mom, let her have her mom the beginning. Yeah. And that's just always just going to be the way it's going to be. So you can't really like push too much. It's really just more of just like, what you want. And it doesn't really need to be too much conversation about it. Right? Because we're just kind of like a part into this whole thing. Yeah. We get to do all the fun stuff, but they have to go through everything. So whatever they need in order to get through that.
The protector and provider, and then we,
Exactly.
If you need your mother, I will provide your mother. Whatever needs to be done for that.
100%. For sure.
Okay, moving on to sort of the balancing business and family aspect. Just because like the podcast is starting, there's other things. Julia has the jewelry business. Sure. So I really want to talk to you about this, because you've always been, even like before Ayla was born, you always had a bit of like a business mindset outside of the traditional work method. You're always thinking of like, I remember one iteration was that like event planning business we talked about after you picked me up from the surgery that one time. Yeah. And now we've landed on cocktail pushers. So why don't you tell me what cocktail pushers is, if you could define it in like a pitch package?
Yeah. So I've always been involved in the restaurant business. And I think it was always an idea of like, why don't you open up your own place? Everybody's like, open it up. Well, if anybody knows, it takes a lot of financial responsibility to open up a place like that. Yeah. You have to have people with some money. You have to have some backing. It's not always so easy. It doesn't matter if you have, business plans or whatever. I'm not discouraging anybody from doing that, but it takes a lot of work, and restaurants are not always easy. I've been involved for many, many years, and my family was involved for many years. A lot of restaurants don't even really see any profits for 3 years. That's if they even do well enough to even like make it and have this kind of longevity.
Just to stay open for 3 years now.
Right. So I think, when I was talking to you about event planning, this is something that I went to school for as well too. Always something that I was really interested in. And then I kind of landed on cocktail pushers. It kind of was like a little bit of an accident. A couple people that I know from my community kind of asked me if I could, do them a solid and really kind of bartend some events. And then I was just like, well, why don't I just kind of bartend events and do this kind of privately? We also had the situation where COVID was happening as well too, and restaurants were closing down, and I didn't know what the future really kind of looked like.
Yeah.
However, kind of how everything kind of like opened up afterwards, I started getting more and more phone calls for people not wanting to go out, but to keeping their circle smaller. So I started getting phone calls for people wanting to do private events in their house.
Yeah.
So that's how kind of Cocktail Pushers evolved. Actually, Julia was really big on helping me kind of, push me through that and really taught me a lot about, what I need to do business-wise, help me make business cards and things like that. So shout out to Julia, and thanks for helping me with that.
Thanks, babe.
So Cocktail Pushers kind of evolved from that. And what it is essentially is just me doing what normal people would doing, hire a bartender at their event, whether it be an event space or at their homes. However, I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I thought to myself that, I'm adding myself, my personality, and I'm adding like a fun element to it, a teaching method to it, kind of an answer and question period while I'm doing it. But I really wanted to elevate the cocktail somehow.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like grabbed all these like different devices that I could do in order to make their experience a little bit better for these events. So I bought myself like a smoker with wood chips. I bought myself like a bubble gun. And so I'm able to like offer and provide a different kind of service than other bartenders are. And I think with my experience in terms of making cocktails and doing all of that, we cater it to every event individually. So I'll always have like a consultation period with clients, and we kind of, we plan the event and we see where it goes, and every event that I do is really different.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I was going to, like, I've been around a few events that have those, like, I call them nomad bartenders come in and they have the trailer and whatever it is. But they just, they kind of keep it very simple with like, we have a margarita, we have a vodka soda, and we have a canned Cottage Springs or whatever it is. And so I was always interested because I remember you did a bunch of test shoots with one of our regulars, like parties for his wedding coming up. And I was really stunned at like how nice your cocktails were.
Yeah,
like,
thanks, man. Yeah.
Not obviously I know you can make that kind of cocktail with a full bar setup. I was more stunned that you could deliver that quality in sort of that nomad setting. So I thought that was really impressive.
Yeah, I think it's really fun. I love that element of kind of just like being on an island by yourself and just really kind of impressing people. I think that's kind of, the fun part of it.
Yeah. I think bartending too, it's so easy to do at the basic level. But once you start adding, like you said, the smoker and the bubble gun, that's when it really gets to that like next echelon of bartending. Yeah. And being able to bring that basically on wheels anywhere, it's a great business model. I think it's amazing.
I think for me as well too is I always looked at bartending kind of like an episode of Chopped. You ever seen? You ever seen the food show Chopped? Yeah. And I do the same thing. It's like whatever I have, I'm like, hey, what kind of cocktail can I create that's gonna taste super delicious and gonna be super amazing? So I kind of approach it in that way. It almost stimulates my brain to being like, this is fun for me. Yeah. And so I think that was kind of the excitement around it. Yeah. And I think it's kind of taking me to the place where Cocktail Pusher evolves. So,
it's like a little puzzle every time. Like, okay,
absolutely.
I got pineapple juice, vodka, and this. What can I make that's great?
That's right. Absolutely. Is it too sweet? Is it not? Do I need to cut it with some soda? Does something need to give, right? So
we'll say watching you work whenever you do like the Aaron specials at work. Yeah. It's always interesting watching how your brain like puts all the puzzle pieces together because no two Aaron specials are the same. No. The only thing that's similar is they all get like 10 out of 10 reviews from the customer.
Thanks. I think it's also, you know what I mean? It's also how you sell it, I think is really important as well too.
I think so.
I think the sell is great. I don't know. I think for the most part, I'm just going to ride on my reputation a little bit. And I don't know how great always the cocktails are, but they're just like, oh, Aaron made it, so it's amazing. So I'm just going to
You set the expectation.
Yeah, I think so. I think somehow, some way. I'm very appreciative from that. And I love that. I love that part. I think that's the greatest joy about bartending for the most part is actually just kind of like feeling that love that I have around me, not only just in my staff, but the people that I get to serve.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, thanks.
Has being a father influenced how you run Cocktail Pushers at all?
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I don't think
No.
that's an element that's ever changed. I think for me, I've always kind of tried to be true to myself. I think that was something that you guys touched upon on the Julia podcast that I was listening to the other day. It's you said, you made a comment that you said, don't change yourself to make
Oh
people
yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
And I've always been true to that ever since I could remember. Ever since
Yeah.
I could remember, going all the way back to even like just before high school. I knew that I was going to be a little bit different. I chose to be a little bit different because I felt like I was different. And not different in a way where I'm so different than everybody else, but I was true to myself. I was
Yeah.
true to who I wanted to be. I was true to my identity. I was true to my fashion choices, fashion choices and style. And I just, whether I got made fun of or I was called a certain name, I blocked that outside noise, and I really just wanted to stay focused on who I was. So I think that was really important that you said that.
Yeah.
Don't change yourself. Did that change me as a parent? No, it didn't change me. I am who I'm going to be, and I'm always going to be that.
Yeah.
Because I think that person is evolving and is just trying to be a great person.
Yeah. Well, I think we touched on it even earlier in this episode. Like, you've always had like your definition of success in the right spot. And then I think naturally your workflow towards success is going to be the right workflow. So I don't think, being a father would influence how you run Cocktail Pushers at all, because I think you're running it correctly for yourself.
Right.
Like, I think the business is a reflection of you and like your enjoyment for bartending. I don't think that would change if you were a dad or not.
Yeah.
I
I think what's changed about it is that sometimes maybe you just don't get enough time to do what you
Yeah.
want to do.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, so I wish I had a little bit more time. But you always, as a parent, always wish you had a little bit more time to even concentrate on yourself, whether
Yeah.
it's, going to the gym a little bit longer or doing an activity like going outside and shooting hoops for half an hour. Sometimes I don't feel that I get to do that, but I have to find that within myself to dig deep to do those things for myself.
Well, this is going to lead me to my next question. I was going to ask, how do you balance being present at home? Because you're let me give you your flowers. You're a very active and involved father, and it's very admirable.
Thanks.
But you're also such a hardworking and high output person. So I was just curious how you find the balance to be like such a present at home, loving father, great husband, and still like someone who is a standout in the bar setting and not taking any shifts off.
Yeah, I think what's important for me there is that I know what my schedule is like, and it's really up to my partner. My partner's really been, the base of my strength, knowing and going along with my schedule and allowing me to do those things. Because if it wasn't for my partner, I wouldn't be able to do everything that I would be able to do. So shout out to Carly, my wife, who's super fantastic and amazing.
We love Carly.
Yeah, we love Carly. And it's really, she's the backbone. She's the strength of all of that in order for me to be able to do that. Now, in terms of being present, I just know what my schedule is, so I know on my time off what I have to do with it.
Yeah.
And that's always wanting to make my family happy and
Yeah.
doing something and creating memories. And to me, that's always important. So as soon as I'm done, I look forward to those times where I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
And we jump into the car and we plan days and we just go out and we really document, our lives, obviously, through social media and things like that. But they're important for me. Those things make me happy. Those social media moments where, we went up to a cottage, or we went to a beach, or we're at the C&E, or we're at Wonderland. I want to show my daughter everything, and I want to show her all the good parts of the world. I think because there is so much darkness, I always want to be the light for her, and obviously for Carly. So that's important.
We have an extremely photogenic family. Let me tell you that.
Thank you so much. Ayla came out super blonde, and everybody asked me, where did she get this, crazy, white blonde hair? I'm like, we still don't know. I mean, we're both a little blonde, but never
that blonde.
Never that blonde, but
When I was born, I came out with black hair. And then when I was around Ayla's age, I had the same type of blonde hair. My parents aren't blonde at all. Same, and bright blue eyes. And then as I grew old, it kind of got this dirty blonde going on.
Right.
Sometimes it's just in there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to question it. You know, it is
No.
just what it is. But yeah, I appreciate the compliment. Thank you so much. You know, we try to take our best photos, and I think there's a lot of editing that goes into it, like in reviewing and asking Carly, I'm like, can I post this one? Is it good? Do you like it of yourself? You know, and then, you know, do I like myself in this one? So I think that's, you know, that's a part of it as well too.
Oh yeah. We all deal with that a little bit.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we're all, you want the best stuff that you're, you know, wanting to post. Like, you want it to be your best, you know, your best work.
That's your internet footprint. You want it to look nice, you know what I mean?
For sure. I mean, they mostly look nice for that point, but I am very critical. But that's something that's just a part of me to be critical in that way. Just because, you know, I think it's important. It's important to me.
It is important. Yeah. That's definitely something that, like, I've been focusing on getting better at, is like, I know in February, after February 22nd, my life is like, you know, I see this one meme all the time.
Right.
And it's like dads during their only unscheduled 17 minutes of the day. And it's just some guy in a lazy boy just conked right out. So whenever I see that, I'm like, okay, I know it's going to get crazy here soon.
There's going to be some tired
so
nights.
I've definitely been focusing a lot on, like, just using my, like, calendar app, scheduling everything, trying to have, like, 2 weeks. Like, I'm fully booked for 2 weeks.
Yes.
I can start scheduling things at that 2-week mark. And it's definitely, like, slowed me down with some of my friends who are like, hey, let's go play volleyball. I'm like, no, my next availability is September 16th at 4 p.m.
Absolutely.
But it's made my days very clear. And I think it's allowed, you know, I struggle not with organization, but with, like, being prepared and organized.
Right.
So, like, I'm good at booking a bunch of stuff. I'm bad at knowing exactly when I need to do it.
Okay.
Julia's really strong there, so she helps a lot with that. She's gonna, you know, she's also the backbone of my success and hard work so far. So I really feel that. But yeah, I know, like, that's one skill I need to focus on. Come February, and I have lots of time to practice it, and I am getting better. Like, all this stuff and schedule and deliveries all going really good. It's actually opened up a lot more of my time throughout the day to just enjoy my time, enjoy time with Julia, make sure she's well taken care of with the vitamins and the food and everything. So it's going good, but we'll see. You know, this is kind of the practice preseason. We'll see how it goes during active play.
I think that's the fun of it, man. I think, you know, preseason is preseason, and then when it comes and game time is on and we're in the regular season, things will change, man. Things will change. It might not always be so smooth. But yeah, I think you'll worry about that when regular season comes, my guy. Yeah, for sure.
When things get overwhelming, do you lean more on being, like, a father and a husband, other than, like, a high output worker? Which one do you lean on more?
That's a very good question, man. When things get overwhelming, what do I lean towards? That's a good one, my brother. I don't know how to answer that question, to tell you the truth, because I think they're one and the same for me. Yeah. I don't know if I lean so much. I think I just do what I have to do work-wise in order to get it done. I think unfortunately for me, I think work comes for, like, a means to an end. Yeah. In a little bit. Like,
well, I think I'm the same way. Like, I think I notice here, like, if things get really stressful or there's some big conversations happening, I'll do a lot more work so that I kind of feel like, okay, I've done more than enough work-wise to be successful. Now I can focus on the family side.
Absolutely.
Like, I definitely do that as well.
Yeah, like, I feel like the work is there for me as well too, like, in terms of just, like, yes, I agree with you. Like, you know, you do that work, you put that time in, you know, you've obviously made it, you know, financially, so you're just, like, you feel a little bit better. And also as well too, like, it could take you away from some of that stressful time maybe that you're even having at home.
Yeah, no,
and, like,
totally.
you can distract your mind from it as well too. So you can able to shut off. So yeah, maybe I do resort a little bit to work as well too.
It's definitely, like, a means to an end though for me as well. Like, if things are getting overwhelming, I'm just like, okay, like, I could take time and stay here, but I know I'm going to have to tackle most of the time right now as a young couple. It's like a money thing.
Right.
So, like, every problem in my mind comes back to that. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to pick up 3 shifts. I'm going to work, like, 60 hours this week. At the end of the week, I'll know I've done everything I can to eliminate that stress, and then I can enjoy myself.
Right.
So, like, I definitely lean more towards work because it's a means to, like, stopping what's the biggest stress in my life at the moment. Yeah. You know?
I think when things are really overwhelming, though, I mean, I really just honestly run to Carly at the end of the day. Like, I think you have to be a brave man and then say that. I really lean on my wife. Like, I really lean on her. Like, when things are I think, overwhelming in different areas. I think she's my voice, she's my ears.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I run to her, and then, yes, I would maybe run to work in order to kind of get away if things are kind of stressing me out in other areas as well too. So it's definitely both.
No, that makes sense. Like if work is super stressful, I'm definitely going to go to Julia.
Yeah. Like we all got to bitch about something to somebody, right?
Exactly.
And like you got to bitch to your closest person that's not going to judge you. And that's like, that's your
Also, sometimes if you've worked 40 hours in the last 4 days, you just got to have a 15-minute like bitch session.
Yes.
And then I can go back to work for another 10 hours.
Vent it out.
Yeah.
Vent it out. It's super strong. I think it's important.
Do you I have a question here. It says, how do you keep your creativity and drive alive while you're dealing with the chaos of parenting? You've never struggled with that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask, like, because you're a very creative guy. I remember, like when we first met, you were doing the collage art. Now you're doing the sweaters. Is that, is your artistic drive, is that just something that's always been with you? Or is that more of, like, an escape thing you like doing because it's a little bit businessy on the side? What is that for you?
I think, and I'd love to spend some more time on doing artistic projects as well too. I think that's something big in the future that I'll be doing. I think it's just something that's in me.
Yeah.
I went to an art school when I was in middle school. I think just being creative and using that outlet is super important for me. It's just who I am. Mm-hmm. And I just love these little projects where I'm able to be creative. Like now, I think the collages were something big that happened during COVID. Like I was stuck, in these apartments, and I had hours and hours to do things, and I just started collecting comic books, and I just started doing these collages, and for me it was super therapeutic.
Yeah.
So that so maybe that's one answer to it, but then there's a side of it when it comes to the artist work and artistry and the creative side of kind of like making sweaters and shirts and things like that. It's just something in me. I need to do it. I crave the creativity and the art.
Well, it's something I was always very impressed because you always seem to have your like, I don't want to call them side projects, but your passions are always very defined, and you seem to always be working on them, and it makes you a very, you're just a happy guy because you're working on the stuff you like. That's definitely when I first started at the Fox, I was not doing anything I liked because it was post-COVID. I was stuck inside playing games, and I was like, ugh. So I took that as, you kind of set a really nice example for me to follow in terms of you still make time for the stuff you like, because that's the part of life we enjoy. The work stuff and everything else is you have to do it, but you need to have the stuff that you're passionate about and that you enjoy because it makes you a rounded person.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Like, I think a lot of people, they try to define you to be like, oh, what do you do for work? What is this? And then it's like, oh, this is who you are. I'm like, this is my work.
Yeah.
That's not who I am.
This is what I do to pay the bills.
This is exactly.
Yeah.
And we all have bills to pay.
Yeah.
Welcome to Toronto. Where are we at, man? I have 3 or 4 hustles going on all the time on top of work. You have to.
You have to.
You have to. What is this world all about? If so.
No, 100%.
That's really the tough part for sure. Mm-hmm. Is having to do all those things, but it's also the fun part of it as well too. Knowing that you have to kind of keep expanding your mind, and I'm not done yet. I am never closed-minded. My ears are always open. I'm always trying to network to the next level.
Oh, I know.
Especially at the Fox, I'm talking to people. What are you doing? What are you involved in? How can I get involved?
Yeah.
And I think that's important. And I'm glad that, I can motivate you to being a more well-rounded person. I didn't know that I was the one who was doing that, but based behind, I'm super flattered. But yeah, I think that we should all be like that a little bit. Enjoy the things that you love to do. Be passionate about them because they are who you are, and it'll make you a happier person. So.
Yeah. Now, to a couple more personal questions.
Yeah, man, I love personal. Let's get personal, buddy.
Well, your thoughts about me. Well, this one's personal, and I'm really curious about this one.
Yes.
So we work together.
Yes, we do.
What's one thing you've noticed in me as I'm getting ready to be a father for the first time?
One thing that I've noticed about you getting ready, I think that you're doing all the preparation and asking all the right questions in order to get there. And I think that's important. I think your excitement just about the pregnancy is really is really super commendable. I was super happy for you when you told me, by the way.
Oh, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. And thanks for the shout out in the first podcast, man. I got my name shouted out there. That was really great. I'm actually curious to why it was me that you told that you wanted to tell me personally. I'm actually super interested in hearing that.
Yeah. So I feel like, I don't know why, but you know how when news first comes, you normally don't share it outside of like family.
100%.
And I always felt like you and I have been very close for like 4 or 5 years now. And I just felt like you were always just finding out news about my life weeks after it had like broke, or like someone had found out, and you were never finding out from me. And that always felt really bad, because I consider you more than a friend. Like, I do consider you family.
That's beautiful. Thank you, man.
I remember when I found out, I was just waiting for the day to tell you, because you've always shared everything with me. And I felt like, especially when we started dating, we were kind of sneaky about it because it was at the Fox.
Right.
You know, you've always been in my corner in much more than just a friend way. So I considered you family, and you were the first person that like was outside of my mom and dad that I really, really wanted to tell. You're also the first person, like you're my confidant at work about being a father. Because everyone else there, they can be excited and understand, but they've never gone through it. And like, I've definitely, like I said before, like based a lot of my choices in doing what I like to do because of the example you said. So being able to share it with you was a really, really special moment for me, because I felt like I was able to like bring you kind of into my life on that personal level that I feel like you deserve the most.
That's so nice, man. I think you got it when you told me, man. I for anybody who doesn't know, when Mitch told me that night, I kind of knew it was happening. He's like, I got something to tell you, and I just blurted it out.
You knew right away.
I knew right away, and I hugged him, and tears were rolling down my eyes, and I was just so happy for him and Julia. Because I know what it's like being a parent, and I just know how much joy that brings me, and I'm just so happy and thankful that you're going to be able to go through it as well too.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but to kind of get back to your question, I guess, man, I think that you're super prepared for it. I've noticed some super changes in you as well too, and I think you're just getting ready for it. I think that overall excitement is the preparation that you need in order to be a father, man. Like that's what it comes down to, that excitement, and that excitement and that change, I think, is obviously making you a different person, and so that's what I see.
Yeah, right on. Thanks, man. That's a
problem,
great answer.
Yeah,
we told both the parents. I have the videos, and I'll show you.
Yeah,
I know you'll be excited to see those. I think he showed you the one of my mom.
Oh man, I went nuts. Yeah, so Mitch has this tendency to like send me like text messages of what happened. So it was another late night, and he showed me his parents' reaction, and I was just like, just so beautiful, just kind of seeing you go through this as well too. We also have another friend that we have 2 friends that got pregnant, obviously, and before Mitch as well too, that we work with as well. Yeah. So I'm loving this chain of parenthood that's like happening. You started it. Like I feel like I started the chain, which is great. I mean, I am the oldest one, so like it's about time, But yeah, I'm so happy to kind of like see everybody evolving, and I love that for them as well. Yeah. And we're all going to go through it, and we're all going to be in it together, and it's something that we can always constantly share, and we're going to be in each other's lives, and
having that net is really nice, because it's a net of parents all within the like 3 years. So, all of it, they're all the same generation kids. It's all that same net. The school problems are going to be the same. Yeah. Some of them are probably going to have the same teachers. you know?
I think what's important is that we all know each other. Yeah. And we've all worked with each other. And we get to kind of see each other evolve into parenthood, which is kind of cool. And it makes us all a little bit different. Yeah. And I'm excited for that for you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Man. What's been your proudest dad moment of these 2.5 years?
I think the proudest dad moment is when, and I knew this was going to happen, for me, is like when Ayla kind of had that consciousness to kind of realize again, like who I am. Yeah. So I think the conversation part of really kind of connecting with her, and no matter kind of what I'm going through at the end of the day, nothing matters more than, my daughter just asked for me, say daddy, just say I love you, give me big hugs and big smiles. So that's my proudest dad moment. Period, and always will be for the rest of my life, is that those moments are always so precious.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, gorgeous. That's all my questions.
I love it, man.
You have anything you want to plug? Did you want to plug Cocktail Pushers or any of the art businesses?
No, man.
No, you're good.
No plugging needed, man.
I'm leaving it open. I'm leaving it open.
No plugging needed, man.
All right, this has been episode 2 of Mini Punches, and I'll see you next time.
That was great, man.
Good episode, bro.
That was so sick, man.